Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? Are you excited as much as I am? Come on, give me some energy. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to sit down here with a man who convinced half the world to wear silk scarves and also convinced them that bad boys can change. He is a wonderful actor. He's an astonishing musician. He's Ed Westwick. Make some noise! Hello. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hi guys, hope you're all doing good. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Lithuania, sir. You just flew in.
Yeah man, happy to be here. We flew in and literally it feels like I just came from the airport and took some pictures in the other room and now happy to be here with you guys and getting to know each other. It's going to be great.
Sir, we are super excited to have you here. Thank you so very much for visiting Lithuania. And just to start off, when did you decide that I want to be looked at for a living?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, my background was, I was always mesmerized when I'd watch movies, you know, like so many of us, and also just mesmerized when I would go to the theater as a kid. You know, I was very fortunate to see some fantastic productions. You know, I grew up just outside London, and obviously we have the West End and
West End.
yeah, all that amazing stuff. So we wouldn't go all the time, you know, but we would go and see different musicals and different plays and everything like that. And I would just be like that on the edge of my seat. And then I started to join some amateur drama groups and do a little bit of acting and some performance stuff in there. And I just grew with my confidence and enjoyed it more and more and being creative. And eventually, after some years, I found my way into a quite prestigious national drama group called the National Youth Theatre, which you audition for. And if you're lucky to be selected, you become a member of their community. And then from there, I got a job for a movie. It just came in for an audition. And thank God I replied, because I had no idea what I was doing. But it was with a very prestigious director at the time. And I had a small role in this movie. And that's what started my journey. It was wonderful.
You caught the virus.
Caught the virus, caught the train, caught it all, you know?
Oh, and by the way, if you want to ask a question, we do have a mic right there. So feel free. We'll jump right into your question at any time. So could you pinpoint like a moment where you went like, was there a performance that you saw and you went like, I want to do that. I want to do that.
Wow, I mean,
and maybe wear some nice suits while I do it.
Yeah, right. I think that it was a combination of everything, a culmination of everything. You know, I was a fan of all the movies, you know, people of my generation kind of were growing up, you know, so like Jurassic Park and stuff like that, you know?
Yes.
It was just the best. And then kind of as I got a little bit older, I liked the movies that my dad liked, my brother liked, like a lot of the Michael Mann stuff with De Niro in and Al Pacino and all of these legends. And
were you into like Scorsese
yeah,
stuff?
Of course, man. I mean, these are, even now, still some of the best movies ever, and, you know, such incredible pieces of filmmaking.
Arguably the GOAT.
Yeah, man. So, you know, there's a whole range of work that inspired me, and so it wasn't just one moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. And to be honest, even whilst I was doing the amateur drama stuff in the beginning, I didn't necessarily have a path or a vision of like how this was going to turn professional and how I was going to make a living doing this, you know? I don't come from like an acting family. or anything like that. So
Well, you come from an academic family. Your mom is a psychologist. Your dad is a professor, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's quite a resume. And you decided to become an actor. Were they happy with your choice?
Oh yeah, super supportive. You know, I grew up with a great family who, were very supportive. They came and visited me a lot when I finally moved to New York to do Gossip Girl. When I was still quite young. I was 19 when I moved to do that show. But they would come out from the UK and come to set and then check out New York and just enjoy the whole experience. So yeah, it was all wonderful.
Gossip Girl, what a journey. What a journey. Do we have any Gossip Girl fans?
Thank you.
I guess we have quite a few.
Well, yeah, it blows my mind, man. I was so lucky to be part of that, you know? Really lucky.
What was the audition process like?
So I went to LA for a month to try and get some work, right?
Anything.
Yeah, anything, literally. And I was auditioning, and I had like a big like trash bag filled with scripts because I would like read one, go to the audition, read one, go to the audition. Just non-stop. So I was there for like a month, and towards the end of that month, and I'm like 18 at this time, and towards the end of that month, Gossip Girl was one of the auditions, but right before that, I auditioned for another show, which would have meant that if I got it, I would have had to have moved to South Africa, and I would have been down there for, you know, if they would have picked the show up and decided to make a full season, then I would have been living in South Africa. And I got offered the job. And it was kind of like right at the same time as I'd just done my first audition for Gossip Girl. And I had to make this decision. Do I say yes to this job that are offering me? Maybe I'll have to move to South Africa. I don't know. But I definitely have to go down there and shoot the pilot, the first episode. They're going to pay me some money. Or do I say no and wait and see if this other one that I probably would really like is going to happen?
Oh.
And so look, I'm 18, I have no money, I just want to work, right? And I'm just kind of like, what do I do?
You have to make like
have
the
to make
hardest
the decision,
decision
you know?
ever.
Yeah. And like the money that was being offered was like a lot of money to an 18-year-old kid, you know? I was like, wow. And you know, in your mind at that stage, it isn't necessarily about like being famous or being on like a certain thing. You just want to work, you know? You just want to work. But anyway, I said no, and I hoped and I prayed that the Gossip Girl thing would come off. It did. And then that started this whole amazing adventure for me, moving to New York and being on this hit show for 5.5 years. And then, you know, and then this show continues years later through being on Netflix, through having its influence and position in culture. And I get to go around the world and meet friends like you guys and talk about the show, and it's amazing. Blows my mind.
What a journey. What a journey. And while the first time when you read the script, did you already instantaneously see layers, or just the polish of the famous Chuck Bass?
Yeah, I think the writers on that show were so good, man. And you have to remember, like, fundamentally, like, yeah, as an actor, you can do some stuff, but you have to have good material. So without the writers, there's nothing there. And I remember the first time I read the script, I just had such a reaction to it. And that's what you want. You want to be inspired. You want to be turned on in your mind with your creativity. So I instantly had a reaction. The voice kind of instantly came to me. And the movements came to me. It was just one of those ones that was like meant to be. Like I think it was meant to be for me. So I just had such a strong idea about what I would do with that character. Now, I didn't know at that point what was going to happen with the character in terms of the story, in terms of how much he would kind of feature. Originally, it was only supposed to be in a couple of episodes. It wasn't supposed to be this main character. So when they told me that they'd actually made the decision to make Chuck a main character, I thought, this is fantastic, you know, not only because I enjoyed it so much, but I guess together they all saw something that inspired them as well. So yeah, man, we went on this amazing 5.5 season or 6 season adventure, really, with this wonderful character where I got to learn so much about myself as an actor. I got to try every emotion possible, wear every suit possible, and just have the best time. And it's incredible.
You ever find yourself like dressing up for something and then just looking at yourself at the mirror and go like, well, that's too Chuck?
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm still like a little bit nervous of throwing on bow ties, but I feel like it's been long enough now that I'm allowed to kind of wear some of those things and it just be me. But look, when I was doing the show, my personal style was very different. You know, I was a lot more kind of rock and rolly. I grew up in that UK indie rock and roll scene type thing, you know, so it was a lot more rough around the edges. And then, you know, the character on Gossip Girl was a lot more polished. And look, as I've gotten older, I've become a little bit more partial to suits myself, to things being a little bit more sharper. So it's funny, but look, there's one of the most amazing things about that show was the work that Eric Damon, who was the costume designer, the work that he did for all of the characters. Every character had their own style, and it was very strong. And the wonderful fashion labels that we got to work with, that we got to display. I think one of the cool things about that show was there might have been like a small designer at the time, and he would put one of the characters in the small designer's clothes, and it really helped elevate the designer and blew them up, and then they went on to great things. So it wasn't just a show, it was this vehicle for so many. I mean, look, we had Lady Gaga on the show, where before anybody knew her, Lady Gaga was on Gossip Girl, and she was not even big. It's crazy, right? Because it was like this whole thing where people kind of popped off who weren't even part of the storyline, you know? It's amazing.
And it's just the whole organism of it all. It's you have so many branches. While you're doing your thing, there's so much
music,
going
the fashion,
on.
Yeah, man, all of that, you know?
And one of the more astonishing things is that you were able to fool a whole generation that you're American. It's like, how did that happen? Like, because what work did you do to sound so effortlessly?
You know what? This was before social media, really, right? So, like now on social media, if the show was out now, you would see me talking a lot, then you'd see the show, and so you'd probably know a bit quicker. But that was right. That was kind of right before social media. So all you really saw was the show. You know, there wasn't like, and I did interviews and stuff, but it wasn't like it is now, where we live in this content era, right? So, yeah, I mean, look, as an actor, you hopefully can do some accents other than your own. I mean, I'm not great at a million accents, but I can do that one pretty well. And that was a very specific choice I made to speak in the way that I did. I thought it signified power, it signified a bit of attitude, a bit of ego, and it was everything that I kind of wanted to convey for that character. But yeah, some people still think I'm American, so I guess we'll keep it going.
Do you meet a lot of people that are genuinely surprised that to hear you with your British original OG accent?
Exactly. I mean, I'm probably more surprised at this point that there's still people out there. It's like when there's someone in the jungle who doesn't know the war's over, you know?
Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing. But yeah, no, look, I just think it's amazing. I've been around the world meeting different people, doing things like this, and for many years now. And I just feel honored that I was able to, you know, I've done other work, but it doesn't matter. It's like, you know, it's wonderful to have been part of something that has a legacy and that touched so many people and inspired so many generations, and also mainly just entertained them. Because essentially that's really what it all is, you know, it's entertainment. And yeah.
Are you still followed around by your main phrase? Like, do people still ask you to do the line?
So what's that?
To do the line.
I'm Chuck Bass.
To do the line, yes, please.
I'm Chuck Bass.
He did the line!
I love that. I love it. I am. Do you know what? That became more popular after the show finished. Like, I didn't realize that was a thing until maybe like 2 years ago. I didn't realize it was a thing. And then people would keep asking me to do it, and I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I don't get it. But I think it's funny. It's, look, as I say, man, I've got to have been part of something that has had a legacy. I mean, who gets to say that? It's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's such a nice thing that you can, well, your character, it's such an art. Not a lot of actors get to play the kind of characters that you played with Chuck. It's just, how fun is it to play a bad, well, it's obviously, he's pretty bad at the very start, and then in the 5th season, there was a moment.
Look, I think one of the things that they nailed, look, here's the thing, right? Because we did 6 seasons, you've got enough time there to really go through so much story for a character and have evolution. And that's what a person does, right? Or at least we hope so. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm sure you're not the same person you were when you were 20, 25, 30, or whatever, you know, and I'm not. So we change. So if that show went on for 5.5 years, you would hope to see the character evolve. And when we first met him, he was a brat, he was spoiled, he was ego.
Cartoonish.
And he was a bad boy, and that was it. And we thought, okay, that's it. But then what we saw was the development of the character, and him becoming a man and falling in love and learning what it is to actually love in the right way, eventually, although he made a lot of bad moves along the way. So, yeah, I think it was beautiful to really go on that evolution, and maybe that's one of the reasons why people were able to like him so much, because you saw such a big part of his life.
Have you ever found yourself in a moment where Chuck stuck to your skin a little bit more than you wished after the cut?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm one of those people that I've found ways to. I used to really try and stay in the character and hold on to the emotion that character was feeling, and sometimes that is useful, but it also just becomes very, very draining for questionable amounts of payoff. So I don't know if I don't always choose to do that with my work. It depends on the project and on the character and on the environment. Sometimes you don't need to do it, you know? At the end of the day, it is just acting, you know? So, yeah, I've always been okay with just letting it go at the end of the day when it came to him.
But would you stay in character during the day?
In the beginning,
like
I would.
On set? Were you walking around acting like an asshole?
Yeah, exactly. So in the beginning, with almost every project, I do. Because I want to really get into it. And then when I know that place within myself, I kind of just jump in and out, you know? It's like a shortcut. So getting to know him in the beginning, that's key. And then I can jump around.
What's the darkest scene that you had in these series, like emotion that took emotional toil? I mean,
it was
not through the plot, but
it was
through
the funeral.
Your emotional
it was the funeral of his, because his dad wasn't actually dead. We found out, but in true soap opera fashion. But I remember it was season 1 or season 2, it was Chuck's dad, Bart, it was his funeral. And I had no idea how to do it. I hadn't had to do a scene like that as an actor before. And I just thought that, you know, just go all in, and then if it needs to if they need to rein it back, the director will tell me. So I was just a mess. I remember I made myself kind of stay up a lot of the night. I was exhausted. We were shooting it at like 6 in the morning. And at 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't know about you, but like, I feel kind of dead. I don't feel emotional, but I guess that was kind of good, right? Because the character was in shock. He was devastated, angry. It was all of this. So I remember that was one of the most difficult ones to do. I think I did a good job. So yeah.
You did an excellent job. These small moments where you don't say anything and the camera just zooms in and you're in a moment, and as a member of the audience, you're just locked in there. Was that kind of was that something that you worked on as a technique, or was it just you followed your gut?
No, 100%. I think a lot of the time, some of the most powerful moments are, like you say, it's when you're not saying something. And you always got to remember, like, the camera is watching you. And, you know, just because it's not your moment or you're speaking, you're still playing part of the scene. So you have to be locked in, you know? I think some people forget that. And I've worked with actors who do forget that. But look, you got to stay locked in, and there might be a moment, like just a look that wasn't in the script that they want to get, you know, because it's nice for the edit. So you got to keep giving what you can give, you know, even when you're not on, or when you don't think you're on camera.
When you're like 19 years old, and then you get a part that is as big as Chuck Bass, and people start recognizing you on the street. How was that transition from an aspiring actor to a star of a Gossip Girl? What was that emotionally for you?
Well, I'll tell you the journey. It was very funny, I guess. We just started filming Gossip Girl. I had my parents over to visit me in New York, and I just rented an apartment, and we were very new to the city, and the show was about to launch, and I think it was the September. And one morning we came downstairs to go out and go back to work, and there was a big billboard right in front of my apartment building with Gossip Girl, 7 and 8 Central Time, CW, and our faces. Huge, huge. And I was
Her
just
face
like,
on it.
Yeah, and my face was just in the middle like that. And I'm just like, whoa. And then a bus, boom, and it's all on the bus, and then we're seeing it everywhere.
How much did it cost you to arrange this?
Yeah, right, exactly. And so that was the beginning of the promotion, and I'd never seen my face that big anywhere.
Yeah.
So that was crazy, and my mum and dad saw it, and they were like, oh, you know? So it was cute, it was wild, but it was very surreal. And then, look, yeah, people started to recognize all of us, and you know, they treat you a little bit different, and you could get a table in whatever restaurant you wanted, you know, it was pretty cool. But we will work.
So when you're 19, I mean, like, it's pretty hard because, as you said, the evolution of man, you change over time, and when you get when the changes are so severe, it's kind of hard for it not to mess with your head sometimes, isn't it?
I mean, look, we were working a lot of the time. So we were on set filming a lot of the time. And when you're not filming, you're pretty tired, right? Even when you're young like that. So, and look, we had some good people around me. Like, of course, we had more stressful moments. And I think I became a lot more comfortable with everything that goes on and around the acting. And now I just feel so lucky am blessed to not only have had that experience, but to have been able to continue to work after Gossip Girl. You know, being an actor, you don't work all the time, you know, unless you're extremely lucky. But I don't think, I don't even know if that is lucky. I feel like you want to pick and choose the projects you can be a part of. You want to feel like each project is special. I mean, sometimes it's not going to be a case of that because you have to make a living and you just need to work sometimes. And I've certainly had that before. But I just feel very blessed and honored that, you know, I get to have been part of that. That still has a life in a way. I mean, I think it would be really interesting to do something like that show again, or to even do a spin-off. You know, I'm working on a project right now. I just hired a writer because I was thinking about this. You know, I go around the world, as I've said. I meet lots of people who love Gossip Girl, who love me in that role. And I was like, okay, well, what can I give back to them? Because the Gossip Girl thing is a little bit more complicated. You know, there's a lot of other people involved. But maybe I could put together a project that might satisfy some of the people out there. So I'm working on a series right now, which I hope that everyone else would enjoy. Yeah, it will feel very similar to it, but it's a new thing.
All right. Have you ever lost a role because people associated you so strong, like right after Gossip Girl? Have you lost a role because they associated you too much with
I don't know if you
Mr.
lose
Bass?
a role because of that. I just think that you wouldn't get the audition. They'd be like, oh no, they're not right for it, you know?
Right.
It wouldn't be like you lost it because it was never yours to begin with, you know? But look, I think that's one element that you can run into is that people associate you so much with that role. But I don't really mind because, you know, I've done other stuff that's been great, but regardless, I wouldn't be right for every single role anyway. You know, I have a certain look, I have a certain style when I act or whatever, and, you know, you're only going to be right for certain parts anyway. So you can't spend your time thinking about that. You just got to do what you can do, and, you know, the Gossip Girl fame and success has rewarded me in many ways, and it's been great. So look, you can only play the hand you're dealt.
But it did open a lot of doors for you.
Sorry?
It did open a lot of doors for you, this character that you got. And how did you feel emotionally when Mr. Bass actually turned to a character that people actually kind of understood finally? Because that was a big moment in season 5 when he actually apologized. My bad.
Yeah. Well, it's redemption, right? Redemption is great. We like to see it in stories. It's very powerful, a redemption story. And that was a part of his overall journey in those later seasons. And I think it was great, but it's about, we love to see somebody come good, right? We like to see everything that he's been through, everything that happened, and then come through into this better person. So again, it's the writers, but it's also the fact that we had that amount of time to go through that, because if we had finished at season 3, or been cancelled or something like that, or if it was just a mini-series, we never would have got to that point. And the thing is that these days, you don't really see shows that do the amount of episodes that Gossip Girl did and that go for 5, 6 seasons. It doesn't happen anymore. It was a different time. It was a time where you could really get to know a character over many years and you see that evolution. I feel like those days are done now. Everything has to be much more concise. We're joining a character for a very snapshot period of a couple of weeks of their life, maybe a year of their life, and that's it, you know? It's a different time for storytelling.
Right. We do have a mic right there, so if you have any questions, feel free to use it. And to be perfectly honest with you, just a couple of days ago, while researching you, I listened finally. I found your music. Sir, I can't stop listening. To for you.
Thank you.
It's just amazing.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
How did that happen? Because you attended a musical school while you were a kid, but like it's kind of does the music making music, does it scratch another kind of itch than the acting does?
Yeah, man. I think it's just about creativity and. Look, nothing makes you feel something. Everyone in the room will agree. Like music. Music is its own thing.
King of all arts.
Of all arts, man. Like, you can't tell me. You can watch a movie, you can feel something. You can look at a painting, you can feel something. But nothing, it makes you have a physical reaction. You start dancing, you know? Your body starts moving to music. It is so powerful. And look, I'm a big fan of music, and I just wanted to see what some music would sound like that I was a part of creating. And a couple of years ago, I met some of my bandmates through another friend, and we started working together. Everybody lives in different places, so it's difficult to organize. Two of the guys are in USA, in Colorado, and one of the guys is in Norway. And we just started working together, not all the time, just when we could. And eventually we ended up with this album because that was the goal. We said, right, let's just make an album, put an album out, and go play some shows. And so we played a bunch of shows in Norway at the end of last year. And then we have a show coming up in Chicago next month. So look, we're just doing bits and pieces and enjoying it when we can. Do I see it as my main thing? No, not really. Because
you could though. You could though.
Yeah,
you have such. Your band has such a nice sound. It's very British. It's like it has this old school feel to it, but it's just bangers. I can't stop listening to them.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I am very much impressed, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've got a question. Hello.
Hi.
So, obviously you're American, your New York accent is very impressive. And I think I heard you earlier say that you can do a couple more accents. So, what are those accents and can you showcase them?
Oh, no, I can't, sadly.
Thank you.
I always need to practice, but I'm pretty good at moving around, moving around America. So like the New York thing's good, my Southern's good, and I can do a few different ones. Do you know the funny thing is I suck at most of the accents around my own country.
Oh, really? You can't do...
I can't do it.
Have you got the, what it's called, a Mel Gibson syndrome when it comes to Scottish accent?
I cannot do the Scottish accent to save my life.
That was actually one of my favorite conundrums, because Mel Gibson, one of my favorite movies of all time is Braveheart.
Oh, yeah,
I grew up with it.
I mean,
and then again, I never knew that he was doing because I'm Lithuanian, so my ear is not, I haven't heard Scottish ever. So I couldn't calibrate, I didn't know whether he does it well or not. And then I went into the comment section. Apparently, people did have some suggestions on his Scottish pronunciation.
Yeah, no, I remember that one well. But, oh, she's gone. But, you have to work at them. Accents they're like a muscle. You have to listen and you have to work at them. Sometimes you need to work with a dialect coach. I mean, when I haven't done an American for a long time, it's always good to dial it back in with a professional who can really help you understand the sounds.
Bad coaches.
Yeah, I've had one out in LA that I used to use. Like after I hadn't done an American accent for like a year, literally, I started trying to do it again. It's literally like a muscle. You can feel it in your mouth that your tongue doesn't go where you want it to go. So you have to kind of wake it back up,
Got it. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. So first of all, you're my favorite character of the whole show, so I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here and talking with us. My question is, If you remember any, what's your favorite line from the show, and could you tell it to us?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for your question. I mean, it wasn't just a line. It was more kind of like, moments, different moments throughout the show, that I remember. He said, what's a jitney? And a jitney is the bus that you take from Manhattan out to the Hamptons. And everybody takes this bus and goes out. That's how you get around. But because he's so elite, right? He had never taken the bus.
Of course.
So
Of course.
But the thing is, the funny thing is, everybody in New York knows what the jitney is. Everybody. And he stands there and says, what's a jitney? He doesn't even know. So I remember that, and it made me laugh a lot. It just showed us in an instant who this guy was and the kind of privilege and attitude he has. It was hilarious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you for the question. Hello.
Hi, how are you? So actually that was my question, but I have another one.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I wanted to ask for a favorite scene. So, other question. Oh, wait, let me think.
No problem.
Sorry,
You're good.
Sorry, I forgot.
We love you still. Show her some love.
Oh.
All right, we're ready for you.
Yeah.
Please.
Do you still keep in touch with the colleagues that you were on the Gossip Girl?
I speak to Chase Crawford a bit,
We're roommates, right?
Huh? Yeah, we were roommates.
You rented an apartment together.
Yeah, man. So the first 2 years, you got to remember, I'd never lived any other place except my parents' house. I was 18, 19. So I hadn't lived anywhere but the house I grew up in. And so then it was very nice of him. He said to me, do you want to live together? And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. That sounds like fun. Let's do that. So
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was great. So but it was nice because he's a little bit older than me. It was a little bit kind of like, he'd lived on his own before. And
Any house parties?
yeah, a few house parties, definitely, You got to have a house party when you're 19. You got to do it.
Got to do it.
You got to do it, man. So that was good. But yeah, no, I speak to him. I see Kelly Rutherford, who played Lily van der Woodsen all the time now, which is amazing. She was at my wedding. I also see her at many events that we attend together. So I'm really, really happy and proud to see what she's done for herself. She's kind of carved herself out as a bit of a fashion icon on Instagram, which has been awesome. So she's getting a lot of love out there in that space. So yeah, so I see them. Everyone else, not really, but I think they're doing all right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got time for a few more questions. Sure. Hello. A group question.
Hi, guys.
Hi, first of all, thank you for coming here. Me and my friend, we are beginners of Acton University, first-year students, and we have a question. Do you have some kind of advice for beginners in this field?
Yeah, I mean, I think just study a lot, Make sure you really, really kind of examine what it is that people are doing. And then I would make yourself personable, because people want to work with people that they're going to have a good time with, And that doesn't mean being like crazy or anything like that. Just, be nice, be easy to work with. Be easy to work with, And don't become some crazy diva, But you're going to be great. You'll have fun. I don't know what it's like out here, so it's probably, but you guys speak English, so that means you can go anywhere around the world, right? So there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much.
All the best.
We've got time for one last question, I think. Hello.
Hey.
Hi, I have a question. My friend didn't catch that, but can you say again, I'm Chuck Bass?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm Chuck Bass. There we go. That's for your friend.
You.
Thank you.
All right, one last question, because that last one was a short one. Just make him say the line again, and
Hey guys.
we'll be wrapping up.
Hello, I really admire you, of course.
Thank you.
It's really funny because it was also a request for you to say, I'm
Same
Chuck
question?
Bass. I'm Chuck Bass.
I'm Chuck Bass. We could do this all day. It's easy for me, you know? I don't have to do anything.
Why did I prepare these questions? We could just do the I'm Chuck Bass.
We could have gone for like a Guinness Book of World Records to see if I could just say it the most times ever in history in an hour. How many could I say in an hour? That would be funny.
That's, I guess we'll leave it for next time.
Next time we'll go for the record, okay.
Sir, it is an honor and a pleasure having you in
My honor,
Lithuania.
my pleasure.
And have fun with your projects. They're awesome, and thank you so very much for making music. It's my favorite band right
Thank
now.
you, man.
Thank you so
Thank you.
very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Westwick.
Thank you, guys.